What's good, everyone? It's Sergeant Tibs with GWHQ.com, standing right next to me in the headquarters. None other than A to my right, honors English, and to his right, Grammy Award-winning producer and engineer Needlz. Guys, thank you for coming in today. It's a pleasure to have you. First, on how you guys got together. So now you guys been working way back, and then it's kind of culminated into the most recent project, State of the Art, which is available now. And so first, talk about how you guys just even met and then started working together.
Me and Needlz first met in Tallahassee, Florida, and we met by a mutual friend of ours named Sirius Jones, and we were working on some stuff, and I did like one song, and then like he didn't think I was that good. And then I started like getting better, like almost like 2 or 3 weeks later I was spending something, and he was like, "Now that?" So it's like, I went through this like growth process, and we started working on some stuff. We did a few records actually, and then I kind of stopped rapping for a little while, and I decided to come back to it maybe like 5 or 6 years later.
All right, so Needlz, what was the song that did make you give the thumbs up? I noticed, first it was thumbs down, then what changed?
I just saw the growth. I saw the potential. Like I said, it was a group at the time. The name of the group was First Ave. It was him, Sirius Jones, and I was doing all the beats. And I really was, at the time, I was really big on just duos. I mean, even now, there's not a lot of rap groups and stuff.
That's true.
So, no, I definitely saw the potential. I thought he could spit, and I really like the way that, he's from Trenton. He's like the hood of hoods, but he wasn't like, glorifying it. He was actually had a real articulate way of expressing himself. So I really wanted to break an artist, and he was the first person that came to mind. So
So it sounds like the timing was pretty organic there, and now with State of the Art, it kind of culminated in this project. So let's talk about this and some of the overriding themes. I know there's a lot kind of covered. We even got a preview of the documentary that's here in the headquarters that you guys should definitely check out. And so let's talk about some of the initial sort of ideas that kind of made its way onto record.
Man, there's a lot of different stuff. One of the things, the concept of the album itself, a lot of what we focused on this album, in my opinion, is like technique oriented and process oriented. We focused a lot on music. We wanted to make sure that the music was first. That we had quality production, and then from there that we had quality hooks, and then even from there flow, and then lyrics kind of took a back seat really, and you might not be able to tell that in terms of once you listen to the
I was going to say, I can't really tell because the lyrics are jumping out to mind. You guys have a bunch of lyric videos so people can follow along.
That's true, but it's like we know that, in order for people to digest lyrics, they need other stuff. So even after we finished the project, we went even further to do lyric videos, to do actual videos, to make sure that it was something that, could be entertaining for people so that they could get and digest lyrics in a way that was kind of new and kind of fresh. So that was one thing, we were really process oriented.
Makes sense. And then on the production tip, Needlz, how did that work for you, just across the whole tape?
It was cool. Like what people don't know, he's an amazing digger. Like I call him all the time. I'm like, yo, you writing? He's like, no, I'm digging. He's like finding random samples from India and Bangladesh and stuff like that, and he's sending them to me. And the way we kind of work is, at least primarily for this album, he kind of sent a lot of the samples, and I would like, I kind of like this one, I kind of don't like that one, and kind of pick and choose. And then once we get like a basic concept in the sample, I kind of build from there. I mean, we were definitely going for a particular sound. I mean, it's important for me to have an album that's cohesive, so it doesn't really I feel like nowadays these albums with so many different producers working on them kind of sounds like a soundtrack, as opposed to one cohesive.
There's not the same sort of flow.
Yeah, exactly. And I that's the one thing I felt was missing. So I mean, I did do some co-production, but I felt that just the fact that I did most of the stuff, it kind of really helped out the feel of the album.
Okay, cool. And so, going back to one of the themes I definitely really get from the project is how sort of the genre of rap. You guys have a lot of commentary, English, you do especially, obviously. So, what going forward, what's your sort of outlook? What do you guys want to bring to the game with your work, and then how do you feel the game is today and going into the future?
That was like 3 questions. Okay. So in terms of on the album, I felt like the main thing that I focused on was like realism, whether or not people are being honest, and I kind of addressed to some extent how there's people, DJs who are stuck in a certain lane where they can't play what they would like to play, where there's artists who may be positive who don't necessarily come out with a lot of material. I kind of started to address these issues without, trying to be negative, but just, saying what you got to say about that type of thing. And I think that realism is important. I think going forward, there are some other things that I kind of want to address. But for this album, I really tried to kind of get into this issue of how, we don't make music that reflects our life. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. The
commercial hip hop, it is what it is. I think it's good to introduce some balance so people can, realize that it's not just one thing. You don't have to rap like this all the time to make dope records. You don't have to make these simple beats with two sounds, and you know what I'm saying? There's something organic about sampling that we felt is missing. Like, I listen to the radio now, it kind of sounds like this robot techno hip hop
it's kind of a boxed in sound, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of stagnant. So that's kind of what on the production side we're trying to introduce and on this project. So.
And on the concept side, in a lot of ways, I have songs like I didn't get a chance to play for you guys, but like I had this song called "Summers on the Sidewalk" and another song called "Short Story Long." They're like really artistic type songs, where they're really conceptual. And to me, a lot of it is we're trying to do art. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do stuff that's not necessarily competing with what's on the radio, but competing with what's in the museum. You know what I'm saying? More so.
Cool. And a record that kind of amplifies that for me is Second Chances. And that was a real personal record for both of you. And you had Karita Posse on the hook, and the second verse is actually about needles and your overcoming of cancer. And so first of all, I want to talk about too, because like going into the game, going into breaking more positivity and stuff in the game, you also work with some of these other artists. So for instance, Lupe Fiasco was one that you guys worked with on this project. What was that collab like? How did that come about? And can you talk also about the importance of working with other artists on this like-minded mindset? Yeah,
gotcha.
He heard some music of mine, and my manager put us on the phone, and and basically we just had a big mutual respect for each other. At one point I was about to sign to FNF at one point, but basically I did Hurt Me Soul and
Tilted was the one that was the very first Lupe song actually that like I really got into and made me a fan of his. So to be talking to you, the producer behind it, this is kind of cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really liked that record when it came out. At one point it was gonna be the single, but anyway, he's always looked out for me. You know what I'm saying? So I just called him and just was like, yo, I need one last favor, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's one last one. I really need a verse on this joint. And like I said, they're similar in what they're talking about. So it wasn't like a stretch or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was a natural fit.
Yeah, definitely. So he definitely heard the song. And we were waiting. We didn't think it was gonna happen, and just one day it just popped up in my inbox, and it was like we had all kinds of people in the studio just waiting to hear the verse, and then we heard it. Everyone was like, it was really dope. I remember that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Great. The record turned out awesome as well. So, guys, thank you for visiting. Let's say our farewells. Where can they find the project? Where can they follow you guys on Twitter?
Needlz at Needlz NEEDLZ. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, right there. And
this is Honors English, and I'm rocking with Gowhere Hip Hop.
Celebrate their demise, and in fact, we filming it live. I just entered the courtroom, your honors here. All rise, all rise, all rise. They all shallow. I wonder why. When anybody make real